What's up, everybody? This is Joe from Real Shift, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm just going to basically be giving you a general idea of why I do what I do here on this channel and why preserving movies and film is so important to me, and why I constantly am on here defending them and attempting to keep certain aspects out of them. And what I mean by that is things that might corrupt entertainment, things that might turn them into something that it's not supposed to be. And what I'm basically saying by this is that movies to me are a form of escapism. It's a way to escape the ugly world that we live in right now and go someplace else, even if it's for a couple of hours, and just forget about everything that's going on. Forget about all your life problems, forget about problems at work, forget about all the horrible things you see on the news every day. Just watch a movie and just forget about everything. And a lot of times I feel like these studios, they only want to show us what we already see every day. Like, they want movies to somehow be a reflection of the real world that we live in today, and I just don't want that, and that's why I fight against that so steadfastly. It's gotten to a point now where a lot of things that I like are just being attacked, ripped apart, deconstructed, and trying to turn them into something else, and that I don't agree with. I don't have an issue with anybody fighting for something that they believe in. That's essentially what I'm doing with movies here. I'm fighting for the integrity of movies. I'm fighting to keep movies purely entertainment and not anything else. And I don't discourage anyone for going out and fighting for something that they truly believe in. But I think the issue comes into play when these things start to infiltrate entertainment, and because people see that, and people, when they watch movies, they don't want to be preached to. They don't want you to be trying to push certain ideals on them. That's not going to have the desired effect. You may think that, oh, they're going to watch it and they're going to like it and there's nothing they're going to do about it and I'm going to get one over on them. But people are relatively hip to that sort of thing, especially if it's a product or property that they are very familiar with and something that they love very much and have a deep connection with. They're going to notice when you tinker with it and try to turn it into something it's not. And I think when you do that, and this is something that movie studios, writers, directors, whoever the case may be, when you do that, people don't realize that it has the opposite effect of what you actually want to happen. You think you're going to be preaching to people, you think you're talking to people, you think you're helping your cause, but in fact you're driving people further away. You're creating a bigger wall, you're causing more division, and I don't understand what people don't get about that. You can't force ideals on people, no matter how right you may think they are. That's not how you influence people. You influence people by talking to them, by having a conversation, by trying to see things from their point of view and maybe them seeing things from your point of view. A lot of the world's problems can be fixed with a conversation, with just having an understanding of what another person is going through and sympathizing with that. And I think that is very important, and it could go a long way into fixing the problems that we have. But one thing we can't do is take away something that people value and that people use to decompress. Because, with all the negativity out there, it's very hard to get yourself all worked up. You get your Twitter fingers going, you're watching the news or you're on social media and you let your emotions get the better of you. And I'm not talking about just you, because I'm guilty of it myself. Like, sometimes I just react to things before thinking about them fully. And I think that's a very human emotion, and I don't think anybody should necessarily be judged for that either. But I also think that as a society, maybe we need to stop paying so much attention to the news, because it's obviously a way to manipulate us, and stop going on social media as much, because that's obviously manipulating us as well, because all you're getting is more opinions there too. And if your opinion doesn't match the opinion of the person you're talking to on social media, then it's just going to cause a fight, and then you're going to be arguing, and then nothing's going to get accomplished. You know, we live in a society now where everybody just wants to hear their own opinion thrown back at them. That's where the term echo chamber comes from. They don't want to see things from a different point of view. They want you to agree with them, or you're a horrible person. And unfortunately, that mentality has now infiltrated the entertainment industry, because at every single award show, I mean, think about it, every single award show you have these celebrities, and to be clear, if they win an award and they want to use that time to advocate for something that they feel very strongly about, as far as I'm concerned, they earn that time and they can do whatever they want. I'm more talking about the in-between stuff, the monologues, the jokes, these things that are obviously have an agenda, and they're trying to push this political message on you. And because these people are all rich and because these people are all famous, it makes them seem as if they feel their opinion is superior to everyone else's, and then the regular everyday public rebels against that because they're just thinking to themselves, you're no better than me, so who are you to lecture me? And that is basically the problem with putting this type of thing in entertainment, because you're making it seem as if you need to teach people something, or that the people watching your movie or television show or playing your video game or reading your comic, that you need to help them be better people somehow. And I'm just here to say that's not the way to do it. That's never going to have the desired effect that you want. We talk about it all the time, but a perfect example of that is Star Wars. And I'm not going to go on a Star Wars rant here. I mean, if you've ever seen anything on my channel, you know exactly how I feel about Star Wars. You know, the original trilogy was very important to me. So when these ideals, these agendas crept into Star Wars, even me being someone who's neutral, like right down the middle, I have no allegiances either way. Even me, I my ears raised up, and I took notice to certain things, and I'm like, why are they doing this? Star Wars is not the real world. This is, it should be escapism. Like when I watch a Star Wars movie, I want to go to a faraway galaxy and, just watch a fantasy and interact with characters that I could never normally interact with. I don't want to see a representation of somebody in real world in a Star Wars movie. You understand what I'm saying? This is where we're at in entertainment right now, and people are hip to it. People are not as stupid as they can be sometimes. And I think it's really important that we just take a step back as a society, and I'm just talking about the regular everyday public. I think people need to have a better understanding of exactly what things like movies and TV and music and comics and video games, what these things in popular culture do for people who are having a shitty life or are having a tough time. I've had countless albums of music or movies that have just helped me out of tough times, and it wasn't because I necessarily learned anything from them or it changed my outlook on life. It was just, it gave me time to get away from my problems and just take it for what it is and watch a movie and forget about everything, and then I could come back later and be refreshed. And I think that's why movies are so important. I think that's why entertainment needs to be kept separate from politics, because we all know politics is toxic. We all know politics just has like these blind allegiances that people follow, and there's no sort of middle ground anymore. And entertainment is slowly turning into that as well. It's turning into a place where it's nothing but arguments. It's nothing but people disagreeing. It's nothing but people not being able to respect another person's opinion, or not being able to respect certain filmmakers or certain actors or certain, whatever the case may be. And I think that's really unfortunate, because if anything, I think movies should be a way to bring people together, because, a lot of people love movies. I mean, it's a billions and billions of dollar a year industry. So obviously there's a strong love for movies. There's a strong love for these stories that are being told. And I think it's very important that we all just demand that movies are kept separate from any kind of political agenda, any kind of social agenda. Like, that is just not what movies are supposed to be for. And that is why the current climate movies, to be quite honest, like, I don't like a lot of new movies. And the more I review them, the more I see why. I just did a review for Spike Lee's new movie, and check it out if you'd like. But one of my biggest issues with his movies is they always have this racial undertone to them. Like, every single story he does has some kind of racial aspect to it, and I don't care to see that every time I go to a movie. Like do something else, do something different, show me something more creative than that. Like, if you just constantly harp on racial issues in every single thing that you make, I'm going to tune it out, and I have tuned it out. That's why I don't like any of his movies, really, other than like maybe one or two. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, when I go to a movie, I don't want to be preached to. I don't want anyone to tell me how I'm supposed to live, how I'm supposed to think, how I'm supposed to act. You know, we're all grown adults. We should know right from wrong, and we don't need to take life lessons from Hollywood moguls or creative people who think that they know better than us, because they don't. We're people who are out here living our actual lives, and we know what right and wrong is. We see the problems going on in the world. We're not oblivious to them. We recognize that there are major issues, but we also don't want those issues infiltrating something that is supposed to be used to escape from them. And that's pretty much the gist of what I want to do with this channel, and that's why I will continue to fight for the integrity of movies, and why I'm not going to ever bow down to any kind of agenda in any kind of entertainment. I think that sets a bad precedence, and it's just not the direction I'd like my entertainment to go in. So these are just some of my thoughts on exactly what's going on in the world. And we've had a lot of news reports come out recently about how certain things are getting canceled, or certain things are being changed or edited, or whatever the case may be. And it's a slippery slope, because once it starts, who knows when it's going to end. And this is why I always encourage strongly buying physical copies of things, because there's going to come a point where streaming services are only going to have edited versions of your favorite movies. And that's just going to be a sad day, because you're never going to be able to get that original version again unless you own it, a physical copy of it. And, you know, I never want to get to that point, but I think everyone should definitely prepare for it if you're a movie lover like me. But yeah, these are just some of my thoughts on exactly what's going on in the world, what's going on in the world of entertainment, the current social climate that we're having right now, and how that's affecting entertainment. This is probably as socially or politically driven of a video that I'll probably ever do. But yeah, I try to stay away from this stuff, but I think with everything that's going on, it was necessary for me to come on here and just give my thoughts. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Like, comment, share, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Peace out.